I remember how to get on. Oh my God. This is a weird feeling. Yo, what is up guys? DukeOfDC here. Welcome to another video. This is my first time riding a Supermoto. This is a proper Supermoto. It's a 2014 KTM 500 exc-f. I actually think they didn't call them exc-fs until 2015. The 2014 is just the exc. And this is very interestingly a bike that I've been thinking about adding to the stable. I have always wanted to get back into dirt biking. The 500 exc is a fantastic way to do both dirt and road. As you can see, I'm in my Supermoto livery. This bike is serious, no joke. These are race bikes. It's super tall, even in its Supermoto trim, which is something I have to get used to. It's got a really light clutch because it's hydraulic. Also something that would be pretty awesome off-road. I'm being extraordinarily careful because you ride a bike that's got all these ride modes on it, and you start forgetting about, like, you know, ABS has always got your back. So does traction control and cruise control. This bike has none of those. Doesn't have a slipper clutch either, I don't think. Sounds so good. He's got an FMF pipe on it. Otherwise the engine is stock, and so is the power output, I believe, from the factory. The exhaust is not going to do a whole lot. It does make it breathe, but these things are pretty uncorked when they get from the factory. In fact, I read something that said you're really not supposed to tune them because you would just be messing with what KTM has already done to make it like a full-on uncorked race bike. I think I just hit the horn. Wow, it definitely feels very vibey, as I would suspect. It's a big single cylinder, so no surprises there. It's a really cool ride. You know, obviously it's an upright riding position. It's a dirt bike, so he has a really comfortable seat on it. I don't remember the name of it right now, but it like flares out on the sides and the back. It's probably one of the most comfortable seats I've sat on, period, let alone on something that's supposed to be inherently uncomfortable, aka a dirt bike. It feels so good. There's a lot of vibration in my feet. Like I said, it's a single cylinder, it's a thumper, so what do you expect? I could get some rubber inserts. The other thing is, like, what do I want to do with this bike? So let's talk about that. I just said I want to add it to the stable. Is it going to replace the S1000R? I'm not really sure yet. You guys know that I'm a one bike kind of guy, and that's just because I can't really afford to have two bikes. I don't have the space, nor do I have the financial bandwidth to pay for insurance and property tax and just pay for two bikes. I mean, that's a lot of money, right? But I don't know that I could daily a 500 exc. A fair amount of you out there are probably thinking, Duke, why don't you go buy a KTM 690 Enduro R? Or, if you're smart, you'll wait for the KTM 790. Well, the KTM 690 Enduro R has a fair amount of issues, and if you spend just a little bit of time on the forums and reading about them, you'll find that that is very true. A lot of owners have had terrible engine problems with their KTM 690s. Now that should be recovered this year with the brand new 690 that has the engine that they put in the Husqvarna 701 Enduro and 701 Supermoto. So then people are probably going to say, well, Duke, go buy one of the Husqvarnas or wait until the KTM comes out. But I can't buy a new bike. And it's not that I can't, it's more that I won't. Buying a new bike is not a great idea. It's a huge financial commitment to losing a lot of money. I don't really want to lose all that money. I'd rather buy something used that has the depreciation kind of taken out of it, and that is still super fun, like this thing, which is super fun. I keep forgetting this isn't linked. This is such a fun bike. Oh, I could get really into this. My feet are definitely going to lose feeling like pretty shortly. However, I'm enjoying myself. So yeah, this bike makes a lot of sense to me. I've also looked into a WR250R. The biggest benefit between the 250R and this, there are actually two big benefits. One is the WR250R is a little bit less expensive. In the used variant, I can get one for about $4,500, whereas this is going to just cost me more. I think about $2,000-ish more, $6,500, depending on its condition. With the Supermoto wheels and dirt wheels, $65 is a good deal, in my opinion, in this area. They're hard to come by. So there's 2,000 bones right there, and that's a fair amount of money. The other major thing that the WR250R has going for it that this does not is longer service intervals. I am on a race bike. We're talking hours, not miles anymore. So that's a pretty big difference. Adonde? That front wheel starts getting light really quickly. You guys see me leaning forward because I just don't want to do a wheelie on this gentleman's bike. No, but the WR250R, you know, 6,000 mile oil changes. I think it's ludicrously 20,000+ mile valve clearance checks. Whereas on this, it's more like, you know, oil changes every, I think, 10 hours. There's so much out there that says like you could do it 15, you could do it, you know, you should do it every 3 hours. And then people do say that although KTM recommends you do valve clearance checks, or at least check the valves pretty frequently, that you can go up to 6,000 miles, which is, you know, like I said, the oil change interval for a WR is the valve check interval for this bike. So it's maintenance heavy, that's for sure. But at the end of the day, it's because I'm buying a bike that has a ludicrous amount of power in comparison to the WR. Now, a lot of power is also a lot of responsibility, cough cough Batman, when you're talking about an off-road bike. I take this thing on the trails, and this 500 turns into a far more dangerous machine than that little 250. But at the same time, it also gives me the capability to grow into something, and because I've ridden dirt a lot as a younger kid, I know what I'm expecting. This isn't my first time into off-road riding. Oh, by the way, which is what I want to do, a lot of off-road riding. Yeah, so like, look at all the rider modes, and the dash is so intricate. No, I'm just joking. It has no rider modes. It has no ABS, no traction control, no stability control, no wheelie control. It is real motorcycle. Of course, I run right into the dirt while I'm talking. It has a speedometer, and it shows you the miles. That's it. It has a neutral light. Does it actually not have a neutral light? It doesn't. It has high beam light, gas light, turn signals, and I think FI is fuel injection, like shows you when that starts up. I've had a lot of fun one time on a, it wasn't a Supermoto, as this is the first Supermoto I've ever ridden, but I'd say the best ride I've ever been on, shockingly, of all the incredibly expensive and amazingly engineered motorcycles I've ridden, the best ride I ever had was a WR250R that I rode around in Tyson's Corner with a guy that was trying to sell it. And he had another one that he was keeping, and he was just trying to sell the second. We were going off loading docks and downstairs. It was such a fun experience. And it just reminded me that you don't have to go 150 miles per hour to have a good time on a motorcycle, right? The whole premise here is exploration and adventure. And if you can do that on a bike that'll take you off of a stair set going 2 miles per hour and still smile, then I'd say that's the one you want to keep. Oh, there's a little tail, there's a little head shake. Holy Jesus. Well, that's an interesting feeling. It's just something you have to be aware of. It kind of makes you feel more alive, though. Is that dumb to say? But like, you know, this bike is inherently more dangerous than the one I own. I mean, considerably more, let's be honest here. But I like it because it is what it is. I like it because it's stripped down It's like the GT2 RS of motorcycles. It's a proper bike. We'll see if this works out though. My S1000R was so incredibly comfortable. I mean, genuinely, it's one of the more comfortable bikes I've ever ridden. You guys know that that's why I love it. It's a jack of all trades. It's got 160 horsepower. It's got cruise control and heated grips and, you know, adaptable suspension. It's really an all-in-one package when you're talking about a road bike. Whereas this opens up the door to things the S1000R couldn't even dream of, and that's off-road, right? And that's going down the stairs or off of ramps. How often am I going to really do that versus how many times do I want to take my bike out west and go camping? Because although this is a great bike to have when you're out there, it's not the best bike to have to get you there. Isn't that an interesting sentiment? So we shall see. But guys, we're going back, so I am going to end the video here. Thank you so much for watching. As always, hit that like button. I hope you enjoyed the reviews I just posted because they were awesome and I really enjoyed making them. And I will see you on the next one.